me?
Look how
What's
pretty
going on?
you are. Your hair's all fucking done. You're glowing over there. She's like,
You know what? I showered for you. This is a big deal.
that is a big deal.
I showered. I have clean hair. This is for you, Tom.
The first time in the pandemic.
It is.
For a lot of us taking showers. Yeah.
I've hit new levels using dry shampoo, but no, this was real shampoo, clean hair.
I will say this too. Like, I think it's kind of awesome where the pandemic made things like showering like special.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
We can't do anything else. So when we do anything at all, it's like, wow, this is great. But I will say this, when it first started, all of us were like, got really drunk every night for like the first couple of weeks. And then we all felt dumb. Then we all got fucking like eating bad food and stuff. And then we're all really bummed because we can't go to concerts. We can't go to sports games or whatever. But then we all got kind of used to it. And then we're all starting to live a little bit more. And now that things are opening back up, I don't know if I want to go out and see people anymore.
Tom, I am with you. I feel like we're now going to have to assimilate back into society and back into culture.
Yeah, it's like a PTSD thing. Like when you come back from war, they lock you off. They tell you that everything's gonna be okay. We know we asked you to kill a lot of people and you did. Thank you for that. Now just take some time, watch some adult films, work your way back into society.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Yeah.
No, but you're right. Just the thought of what my schedule was like before, just seeing shows and dinners and meetings and stuff is like giving me anxiety just thinking about it. Although shows is my number one thing I do want to return to. I think it's going to be religious. I think people are going to be like crying hysterically and hugging everyone.
I think so too. I will bet money too. Like when pandemic was first starting, you were probably at the point where like, I'm never going to a show again. I've been to too many. I love music, but not that much, But now it's like, it's kind of, absence.
It's fresh again.
It makes the heart grow fonder, as they say.
And I do think though, like we are all going to be a little bit more choosy about what we do. Like I think our time is going to be a little bit more special, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I think so, because I think we value interactions more. So we're going to put a lot more emphasis on it. I do agree also about the music. It's like a religious experience in a sense, because, you go to a concert, at least in rock and roll, it's like, it's about an emotional thing. It's not just about drinking with your friends and dancing. So rock and roll is about, it's about that emotional connection experience, but we haven't been around people. So it's crazy. It's the same reason why in group prayer or group meditation or group yoga or something, it's like you kind of have this amplification of consciousness. And I think people will be so stoked to be there and be so grateful. I think people will also be appreciative of one another, that it potentially, like for me as a musician on stage, I'm kind of going, wow, I don't have to be that good right now. Like their standards are really low. So I can try to just be a little bit more comfortable, not hit everything perfectly, and because they're going to like me more.
No one's going to care.
No one's going to care.
If you just show up, everyone's going to be happy just to see you standing on a stage.
That's what I'm saying.
But the good news is we are going to have Angels and Airwaves shows at some point soon.
Talk about religious experience.
Yeah, that's right.
This is what the band is built for. You know what I'm really proud of, by the way, is that when I started Angels and Airwaves, I think I probably told you this at some point, but I think a lot of people are like, okay, what does he fucking sing? He's singing about love and self-awareness or something, They're like, wait, is this the guy that got kicked out of high school and ran around naked and shit and whatever? But I also knew at the time, I was like, trust me, this stuff is going to matter to you guys at some point. So what's cool is like coming out of the pandemic, I think, we are genuinely down to the DNA level built to inspire or to be inspired, or it's like, we just have this thing that we like in our band where we're just trying to make the world a better place. And, but it won't be like jumping on the bandwagon, where I think a lot of bands are going to come out of this going, let's be happy or let's do this or whatever. But I'm kind of proud that we've been doing this for almost 15 years now, so if people like the idea that we do that in our music, and they're looking for that coming out of such a tough year for so many people, I'm going to be really happy to share that with people,
It's so exciting. And you have been working on this new music for what, 3 years? I mean, this is going to be your first full length since 2014. What was sort of the impetus to really focus on this body of work?
Well, I basically couldn't do the things I wanted to do and I was getting involved in while I was doing the Blink stuff. And it created this really crazy fork in the road that everyone in the band knew was kind of coming to a degree. Cause when Blink first broke up, I started Angels, but Angels, I mean, everyone was just pissed about the Blink thing, or they wanted that still, and they weren't really giving it. I think a lot of people gave it a true listen, a true shot, and the band was doing great, and growing. But, when Blink got back together, it kind of put Angels on hiatus. And then the Blink thing went wrong again for like the 45th time.
Yeah.
So in any case, when Blink didn't kind of split the next time, I just had a company called To the Stars. And that was going to be this thing where Angels could live, but movies and books and just all this kind of like edgy Disney for adults kind of stuff, science fiction stuff that I'm into. And I kind of thought, well, I don't know if I'm going to do music. So I stopped touring for like 7 years. And I just started putting out Angels and Airwaves stuff. But it's funny, I actually changed my intention with that because coming out of Blink, I was like, the band's so big, so I'm thinking I want it to be big. I want to be, this is gonna be the best version of myself or whatever. But it's not really the right, I think, intention. I don't think the universe really rewards you when you go after things that are so ego driven, and I think for me, it's like rebuilding your identity or who you are and chopping your ego down and being comfortable in your own skin. So I was doing all that by just saying, I'm not going to tour it. I'm going to do Angels and Airways because I love it. And I'm going to do it with Alon and my buddies when the schedules map up and we can create something, put it out, but no fucking pressure. Then I went through divorce and that was just tragic and horribly painful for everyone in the family. And I just said to, one of my closest friends, Jimmy, but he also manages the band now. But I said to him, I said, dude, I think I just need to I need to go play music again. I haven't done it in like 7 years. I mean, I put these little EPs out and stuff. But I think I just need to go test that out again. Just remember where I came from. That's really all it was. Just remember who I am. So there was a lot of me that was like, let's go play music again. Whatever it is, whatever Angels and Airwaves is. So we put these shows on sale last fall and not all of them, but a lot of them sold out in minutes, like boom. And I'm sitting there kind of going,
wow,
wait, what? Like, where did this come from? And I thought they would do well because I haven't toured in 7 years. I know we have a lot of fans, but not like that,
Right.
And then everything just kind of fucking exploded. Then all of a sudden the band is like on this, like the edge of like really breaking after like 14 years. And so I was like, holy shit. Well, I was recording these songs just for fun. And then the pandemic hit and I was like, maybe I'll put a little bit more effort into this. And so over 3 years, it's a long fucking answer. But I think everyone likes albums by a band for different reasons and whatever, but I'm just saying like this, I have never worked so hard on something. And what's encapsulated on this new Angels record, I have a tendency to get emotional about everything I do. Oh, it's fucking great. I love it. Everyone's like, okay, well, is it really, like, I don't know. I like it. But with this record, I'm like, this is like the best shit I've ever done in my life. It really is. Might not be, everyone's going to argue about like, oh, I like some of these old songs better, or I liked it when they did X, but I'm just telling you for like who I am as a person and as a songwriter and coming out of the punk scene and taking a left turn, but then coming back to the punk scene, but with that knowledge and life experience, this is like some futuristic shit that kind of like, every song's so diverse. You hear New Order, Depeche Mode, you hear Quicksand, you hear, little elements of Blink and the Descendants, you hear like, you're a bit of Boxcar, so you kind of, it starts to become more of like a time capsule or some shit where I can lock off something like this is who I am right now and all the sum of all my parts, I guess,
You had to get to, no, that's actually the most incredible answer. You had to go through all of these life experiences to get to this point in order to make this next chapter and next iteration of your music. I mean, how rewarding is that? That's got to be the most cathartic way to make music.
I'll tell you, I will be honest, and everything I've learned through people around me dying, I've had cancer and my fucking, like the divorce and whatever, raising children, starting companies and working with people, having some tremendous, situations that aren't good with your former bandmates, but then good ones of brotherhood. I mean, I'm just saying like the way life is that people have to understand is that, you're only here to learn stuff. You're not here to be in a big band. You're here to learn from the tragic consequences of being in a big band, and you might get super rich and hit really fast and hard, like right out of the gates, but you're going to come crashing down no matter what, in some way, maybe emotionally, maybe with your family, maybe not money, but you'll be tested, or you go through all those tests early and then you have a success given to you because you've earned it in a certain way, but you're always going to learn something. There's not going to be a version where you like fixed your relationship with your parents or your loved one. Or you fixed, your anger management. It's done. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So I think with that, it's like, yeah, I'm at a time in my life where I just went through like some crazy stuff with my family, and then like the refining of who I am, and then working with the government on a bunch of stuff. Like,
right.
I just have like a weird little zone on earth that I've carved out as a weird little place I live, and I'm enjoying it.
And it's inspiring. And you're right. It's all about learning those lessons. Like that's the key, is that while you're facing all these obstacles and these detours, as long as we have those takeaways, those lessons, then we become better for it. And I think that really shows in the music, Tom. I will say, I want to talk about, I finally got to hear new music. And
Good.
The first song that everyone is going to hear is Euphoria.
Yeah.
And you were not kidding. This song is sick, Tom. Like, first of all, I've already heard it like 100 times, but I went back and put headphones on because you need to. There are so many nuances, elements, layers, levels, tracks. There's so much going on.
There is, yeah.
And around 22 seconds, that guitar riff
good,
punches
right?
you in the gut. I kind of want to know specifically about that guitar part. It's so sick. It rocks. This song rocks. It's so good.
And you're so nice. Number one, thank you. I was stoked. You have no idea. Like, it's so funny as an artist. You're always like, I want millions of people to like this, but I'll settle for one person to tell me they like it, because Blink, our first show ever, they gave us like 50 tickets at this bar to play, and they go, sell these tickets. That's your money for the night. So we show back up with like all 50 tickets. We don't know anyone old enough to even come here. So we made no money. And the guy's sweeping. He's all, well, you're on in like 5 minutes. I'm all like, there's literally no one in the bar. So we get up there and we play. And the only guy there is the one sweeping. That's the bartender. As soon as we get done, he walks up and he puts the fucking broom down and he stares at us. He's like, don't break up. There's something here. He's like, I hear something here. But I remember I held on to this deal. I'm like, he said there's something here. We
Total
can do this.
validation right there. Yeah.
Well, with this song, it's I appreciate what you're saying. I mean, not everyone, a lot of people hear a song, go, whoa, that hit me so many weird, but they're not listening. You have obviously you do this for a living, so you can listen to songs in a way some people can't. But this song, it's 130 tracks of sounds and nuanced percussion elements, and it's a very futuristic version of post-hardcore kind of stuff, where, for people that don't know, you grow up in the punk scene, there's all these different versions of punk, just like there's glam metal or, hardcore metal, death metal, I grew up in kind of a pop punk, normal punk rock, traditionalist kind of branch of the tree. But, a lot of Angels and Airwaves was inspired by hardcore stuff, because there's all these kids that are like straight edge, don't drink, don't smoke, equal rights, feminism, be a vegan. A lot of those things we made fun of in the early days of Blink, but you get older, go, fuck, our friend was drinking distilled water, but he's probably really fucking healthy right now.
Probably looks great.
Probably looks fucking great. Shit, But what happened was with that music, hardcore music was all fast and gnarly, and not everyone understood it, but you'd have all these people out there celebrating really cool ideals. Then came this post-hardcore thing where they're like, slow songs down, get a little bit more musical with it, and say something that's a little bit more emotional, not just screaming. And I really identified with a lot of that kind of stuff. That's when you hear bands like Fugazi or Quicksand and so many others. But I was really inspired by that. So that's where Boxcar Racer came from. And so when you take like that part of the punk rock scene and move it forward into the future with elements of what Angels and Airwaves was always kind of about, which was more like, soaring music, atmospherics, lifting you up, ascending, feeling like you're ascending, saying something that's a bit more touching if we can. I try my hardest, try to be a poet. But I don't know. It's got to stand out. So I remember I was sitting there on my guitar and I was thinking about writing. I always do this every record. I want kind of one heavy song. I don't want to try to write 6. I want to try to write one that's just fucking kicks you in the dick, And when I came with that riff, I was like, this is rad. And I was on an acoustic guitar because I write everything on acoustic guitar, but I played it and I dropped D, the bottom string, so it sounds more like Deftones or some shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like this. I remember whenever I do this too, I'm like playing, and if I do something cool, I go and I put the guitar down and I sit back like this and I just sit there like doing nothing. And if you walk in the room, it's weird. I've always done that because I'll play for an hour or two, but if I do something that I think is cool, I set the guitar down and I just sit there and zone out. And what I realized I'm doing, and it took me till like last year to realize, I'm imprinting it on my brain.
Yeah.
I can't be playing anything else. I just got to leave it in there and imprint what's going on because I just know there's something great there to follow. Yeah. So any case, I'm talking like crazy.
No, I'm obsessed with this. I'm soaking all this in. So
you are? Okay.
Yeah, I love it. I love this song also. I got kind of elements of Rush. I kept hearing little Rush moments. Was that intentional?
Yeah. It's the filter sweep. I think it's like the song Tom Sawyer. Whenever you use that sound, I think they get 10 cents, They get it. It's a super common thing. It's on every single synthesizer. Any kind of anything that makes like a synth sound has these different versions of you just pass an audio signal through different filters, something to make it sound high end, low end, make it sound buzzy, not buzzy. You just kind of twist it, but each one has the ability to sweep like that. So it's nothing patented and weird, but one band, Rush, they made it so famous and it's cool as shit. So it's very featured on this song. And when we first started the song, we named the demo No Rush because you don't have a title yet. You don't have work. So for all the way up until about 2 weeks ago, it was called No Rush as a demo name, because it's just, you keep saving it every session, but you never go up and change the title. And then later on, you're trying to go, oh, no, we're going to call it this, but no one knows what you're talking about every time you say that new name. Well, Euphoria. All right, what does that mean? Right? Which song is that again?
Yes. So is this song indicative of the rest of the songs? And I also wanted to ask you because, I love Rebel Girl, which you put out recently. Will Rebel Girl be on this album? I'm just trying to gauge, will the songs that were just put out recently be part of the album?
Yeah, so there's going to be 12. There's 12 songs, 2 of which are the ones we put out, Kiss and Tell and Rebel Girl.
Right.
The other 10 songs, each one is extraordinarily diverse from the other. So we got, like I was saying earlier, it's like you have this big, heavy kind of thing, but then we have stuff that's, then the next song sounds like, it could sound like modern English. Or this Just Like Heaven by The Cure or something.
Yes, The Cure. Total Cure vibes. Yes.
Then there's songs, some songs sound like just like a 2.0 of Angels, like just soaring big, but like, with so many electronics and really progressive, but anthemic, but upbeat and faster. We have a British punk song that's about gun violence, but it's like, it kind of sounds like Lust for Life by Iggy Pop.
My favorite.
Yeah, so it's dancey
one of the greatest.
In a kind of swing gymnasium kind of way, similar kind of beat, but it's so diverse. Like you really have no idea. It reminds me of Blur. Because when I would listen to Blur, they were so diverse, they're going woohoo, and the next one is like Park Life, and you're like, it's like all over the place. So the songs don't sound like Blur, but the diversity I think does, So I'm really proud of that. It's hard to do that sometimes. It was for me because I'm a punk rock kid, so I'm like, everything sounds like the Ramones, right? Is that cool? But,
what about the production of this? Did you produce this yourself?
With Aaron, Alon's brother Aaron is our co-producer. We work with him, and he's sitting right here, so I don't want to. He's listening to this, so I don't want to like pump him up too much. But this is like the best shit he's ever done. He does all the electronics and incorporates that whole progressive element into. We have a really great working relationship between him, I, and Alon too, where it's like I kind of sit down and quickly start sketching out this box. Then he comes and fixes that box up and makes it much more sprawling. Then we hand that box to Alon and it comes back a circle, and then we're like, oh shit. And then we build on it. So we kind of just do this like thing through each other. And we just keep twisting the song until it ends up in a place where like, wow, this is like fucking rad. And but the production on this record is like, it's crazy. Like the guy that's mixing it, Rich Costi, did the Boxcar Racer record.
So good.
He did a bunch of Muse stuff. I mean, he's just a really rad.
He's amazing
music guy. But the stuff that he's doing, like with what we gave him, it's like crazy. Like it's so big and like ambient. You know, it's a different thing. I've never had a sound like this before, so I'm excited.
Well, I was going to say to mix this in particular is challenging because there are so many tracks, so many parts, so many sounds. It's so ethereal at times, ambient at times, but driving at times. And to find that balance and that perfect mix is really that's an art in itself. And then in addition to all the music and the concepts, you've also written and directed all of the music videos. Right?
Yeah. I'm just like a man. I have so many talents, Allie. It's like insane.
You do.
Yeah.
But I remember you directed the Taking Back Sunday video for This Photograph is Proof. I know, back in 2004. Was that your directorial debut? Was that your first time?
Yeah. And it was an extraordinarily complicated one because we had to film basically multiple times. There's a long shot, that continuous shot. And then a couple hours later, we would do it on a completely different camera, like a Super 8 camera or a 16 millimeter. But then you split the screen and put them together and they cross the frames. So everything is choreographed. You know, you leave the left on this word, run behind me, jump back into the frame on this word. But when you put it to the other one, they do the same thing. It looks like they walk in and out of different. It's crazy. The way to do that is super complicated and no first time director does it. I did it.
You did it.
I was proud of it, but I had so much fun. It was really challenging and I never did anything like that before. And now it's like, we just, now I'm doing all this kind of stuff. I just did a movie this summer. I directed a movie this summer. So that's coming out. Yeah. That's going to be fun. People are going to laugh.
We have to talk about that. Monsters of California.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like a coming of age adventure, but with a sci-fi twist.
It's kind of like it's like, what if like Super 8 was made by Seth Rogen? And they were they're skateboarders, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like the Super Bad meets kind of a Super 8 kind of thing. So it's a hell of a lot of dick jokes and F-bombs. But you have paranormal shit through the whole thing, the tent pole paranormal things. And it's a blast. And it's fun. And we shot it for like such a low budget and we got it done during the pandemic. I think people are going to trip out what we were able to accomplish. So I'm excited. Yeah.
So there's elements of like your research from To the Stars Academy. There's some like early Blink references. There's skateboarding. Is it semi-autobiographical in ways?
Oh yeah. Well, the jokes, like the way they talk to each other and shit is very Blink skateboard crew. Like where Mark and I came, it's like the way we all talk to each other. But the paranormal stuff obviously is kind of my brain, but then there's some UFO stuff in the third act of the film that's super kind of serious. And so I think people are going to see a couple moments in this film that are dropping some pretty big knowledge, you know, so I think people will get out of it some of the stuff they've been wanting, I think.
It's so exciting. And when are we going to see this? Do we have a timeline?
I'm hoping that we can do a premiere like on Halloween or something. That would be the goal. Yeah. So we're in the post session. We have the assembly. We're doing a director's edit starting like next week. Then we move into the sound designs. The scoring will start next week as well.
What about the scoring? Tell me more about that. That's exciting.
So Alon and I and Aaron will be scoring the film. It'll be a lot of like atmospheric synth pop kind of shit, like 80s, but like more what people know of Angels were the atmosphere, like the synths and stuff, but with more of like, you know, have you seen the movie Drive?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like college
kind
of stuff. It's like in that kind of realm. Good. But there's these orchestrations that happen that are super Spielberg, you know?
Yes.
That are really funny and like bigger moments that'll be more sprawling than that particular sound. And we'll see how it all fares out, but I would love to. Then we can bring that music and do extra versions of the record later when the movie comes out, because my whole goal is, you know, all these movies and animations and everything I've done is like meant to come to the stage and be incorporated into what we're doing. Since 14 years ago, I'm like, this is what we're going to do. Well, I'm finally getting to the point where I think I can almost start doing it. So I'm excited to do that, bring it all out.
I'm so intrigued by your journey, and I sort of want to rewind and understand like your earliest memories of music, because I know that you have so many different influences musically and kind of where it started for you.
I grew up in church. My mom made me go to church, so they were singing there, and so me and my friends were bored as fuck, and so we'd sing along and try to like sing all over the place just to fuck around with our voice, So I kind of, we wanted to sound like black women, or we wanted to sound like Frank Sinatra, or whatever. And we couldn't, but I kind of learned to sing there, but in junior high, my brother got me into punk rock, like in a big way, like a big way, like around 7th grade. And that became like, oh my God, like, what is that? I wasn't even in music. I just somehow, like, as soon as I heard the music, I literally brought these cassettes everywhere I went, and I got in my friends' cars and I would make them listen to it. And they were not even really into music, I'll put this in,
Yeah.
I was just something about it. Like, I just loved it. And then I started playing guitar, and it's just, I don't know what it was. I used to have these like, I would be sitting in my room because I lived in the garage, and I had this little bedroom area built off in a three-car garage or something like that. And I remember I had one small little window, and right next to it was my little stereo. And I remember listening to the radio, and I started hearing in my head what my music would sound like on the radio. And it sounded the way Blink sounded. And it was before Blink was put together. I remember this. I remember it's almost like I would just sit there like this, and I was just listening, and I hear like, like just fast beats, and like I heard the sound, and then I chased it. It's weird. Like it all started like around 7th, 8th grade. Then I started being able to jam, and by 15, 16, and met Mark at 16, and he was older. He had a girlfriend.
Big time.
Yeah.
Was the chemistry between you and Mark, was it pretty instant, or was it something that kind of you guys worked on together?
Oh, no, it's pretty instant. Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just posted on Instagram this amazing photo of the two of you. When was that from? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know. With that hair, I would have been 21 probably. I think that's a 2021 look.
Not 2021 look.
28, 20 years old, 21 years old, not 2021. What if I had that now? Right. What if I had a bleached hair and nose ring, Hurley shirt?
What's also crazy to think about is that this year we are celebrating the 20-year anniversary of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, which is so nuts.
It's a worldwide celebration, isn't it not? I mean, isn't it like every country together? It's a big deal. Yeah, it's like the whole world is celebrating.
It's a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal.
Pretty big deal.
It's actually one of my favorite albums, to be honest with you, start to finish. I absolutely love this album. I do. I love this album.
You're funny. Well, thank you. It's it's got a good like attitude to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
I love that you're surprised that I love that album. I just think like as a body of work, I think every song, I actually went back and listened to it again last night, and every single song is just awesome. It just is. It just is.
Well, you are too kind, and it's hard when you're in it to really see it sometimes. Like, or maybe we felt it at the time. But you know what was funny about that record? This is funny. So we just came off of Enema and of the State, which is giant, right? So the record label was like really wanted the follow-up record. Like, is this going to be good? Is it going to be big? Is it going to sell? And so Mark and I recorded a couple acoustic songs as a joke. At the time, it was like when you fucked Hitler, did he tell you he loved you? And the other one was that is on there somewhere. A bunch of dogs that are a bunch of pirates fucking a dog. And then the third one was the Macarena was really big that year. So we had this one called "Hey, Wipe Your Anus," and with that, so they come in after like 6 months of recording, and it's the president, the head of A&R, and they sit down and they're like, "Let's hear these songs." And those are the ones we played them with a straight face. And dude, the panic in their eyes was crazy. And I thought it was really funny. But this is the second part of the story that's really good. So I was getting married at the time. And I remember a couple of the dudes from Pearl Jam came to my rehearsal dinner or some shit. They happened to be in town, and we had a bunch of people there. So they came, we're talking. And I was laughing super hard about this, the song about finger picking when you fucked Hitler. And all this is just so bad, And I remember they weren't really laughing, it's Pearl Jam, but I thought it was funny. Well, I get a call, like I have a voicemail, and And I pick it up like a day or two later, and it's like, hey, Tom, it's so and so from Pearl Jam. Me and so and so were talking, and we were like, just kind of, and he's just totally kind of not getting to it. And then all of a sudden he goes, we both just think you shouldn't have a song about Hitler on your record.
Oh, they were trying to like do a solid. They're trying to like help you out.
They're
like,
such nice guys. They're kind of looking out for the dumb kid that says whatever he wants. And so we ended up changing. No, I don't know if it's because of them, but it probably could have been because it's fucking Pearl Jam. They're like, shit, people take them seriously. So we changed it to When You Fuck Grandpa. And so the song
much better to handle.
And that became something we sang at all of our shows and whatever. But
Look at Pearl Jam saving the day, looking out for you guys.
Still saving the day. Those guys
still saving the day. They really are. Oh my God. But then didn't you write First Date and Mark wrote like Rock Show like in 2 seconds? Like didn't those songs just we literally were done with the demos, and then we're just gonna go in literally like 2 days later and just pump out what we planned. And I remember someone was like, our manager Rick at the time was like, I think you're missing like just a couple upbeat, just kind of whatever it was. And we said, fuck, fine, whatever. And so we go home that night. I wrote First Date, Mark wrote Rock Show. And then ended up being the first couple songs, I think, released, or one of the two of the three. And that's how it happened. It was quick. Yeah. But what's crazy is that Take Off Your Pants and Jacket was the first punk rock record to debut at #1 on the Billboard 200, which is pretty monumental.
I didn't even know that. Really?
I know these things, Tom. I know these things.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that impressive?
Yeah, I should have known that shit. I should be telling like fucking everyone that. I should wear that on my sleeve.
But the best part is the First Date Boomer doll. Is that still available? They're still left?
That's a good question. There might be some left. We have a skateboarder with him too. And boy, do I have a surprise for people that like Boomer coming up. But I can't talk about it.
You can't talk about it.
But it's not what you would expect. But if you know the Boomer story and are familiar with who he is and all that kind of stuff, I think they're going to laugh pretty hard.
Another huge anniversary is Boxcar Racers. 20th anniversary is also coming up.
All these 20, that's fucking crazy.
I know, it's weird. It's weird. Okay, so new music, previously unreleased song. Anything you can share about this celebratory milestone?
I think Travis already let out of the bag that we do have a Boxcar song laying around. We have not decided when to release it, but there is one. And it's been we did it over the past I think a couple of years. I mean, but we just got to figure out like when that comes out, and how we do that. But we plan to. Does that help?
Yes, it does. It's hope. You know what? We all just need as much hope and light to hold on to right now.
I know.
So this is great. This is good stuff.
We do. And I'm thankful that I'm the only one that can bring hope to the world. That's good to know.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Tom, you seem like such in a wonderful place right now. I can feel the energy even. And what are you most proud of right now? What's grounding you?
I think I'm most proud of that's a good question. I think I've been through a lot of crazy stuff in my life, and it's given me such grand perspective on things. And it's funny because I've always chased the meaning of life. I'm a total Sagittarius, total optimist, trying to learn, and what can I do for the world? But I got into the paranormal stuff because it was too real to not be real. So I thought it would point to kind of a larger picture of who we are and where we're going and all that kind of stuff. And so I started that for so long. And then I started infusing those elements in my music and, the books, whatever. But then I got into the stuff with all the people from the government. And then once you start learning some of that stuff, particularly not like UFOs and stuff, but with consciousness and how it relates and how it's a part of it, it re-amplifies a lot of the themes and the things that you would learn in other kind of spiritual practices or religions, or if you study the paranormal, and you start to get these things that tie together and give you a much broader, more kind of experience or mature way to view what life is. And and I'm not like some fucking Gandhi master yet, but no, I'm not. Yet. But my point is it helps to go through a lot of craziness in your life to be able to stand firm to some of the conclusions you've been after for a long time, and they're starting to resonate as true in a way that you never really thought possible. And then what happens is it makes you feel much more comfortable with where you are. And it boils down to losing expectations. And once you lose expectations about things, then you don't get let down. You're riding a wave of life rather than, I didn't get the raise I wanted. I didn't get the house I wanted. I'm not married yet. Or whatever it might be, or like me, I'm blessed with an amazing body. Like, I don't know it's like, it's a burden, but
natural 6-pack abs.
Yeah. And I think once you lose those expectations and start to really understand how life works and what it's about as best you can, you start to find yourself in a much more comfortable place and making decisions about what enriches the soul rather than what enriches your pockets. So, I'm at a place where I really understand that in a way that I never did in my life. And it really kind of lifts the burden of living. Not perfect. There's a lot of things I stress about and I'm tripping or whatever, but I always try to center myself. Okay, what am I bummed on? I'm bummed if it doesn't work out the way I want it to on my timeline. Why? Well, usually those are ego reasons. It's not like something that matters. It's never something that really matters.
It's all about perspective shift. Anything is manageable as long as you just change your perspective.
Yeah.
Like you can't control a lot of things, but you can control the way you react and respond to things. That's something that you can always control. So I always keep that in mind.
Yep. Look at us. We're adults now.
Totally adulting as fuck.
Yeah. I did talk about like dick jokes on this. I did.
You did.
Old Blink stuff.
You had to.
It's well-rounded.
You had to.
It's not too.
Yeah, it's well-rounded. Okay, multidimensional.
Okay, good. Yeah.
You're the best, Tom. I'm so psyched for you. And I genuinely love the new music. And I cannot wait to freaking be at a show together. It's going to be epic.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Awesome.
I always have the best time hanging with Tom. I'm so excited for you all to hear the new music.